Hello friends of the electrified charging fun and welcome to 2 days, 2 worlds with a Skoda ENYAQ RS Coupé. And such a coupe is a really good company car, isn't it? It really looks awesome and it has still a lot to offer, enough space for everything you want to carry with you. And is this really good for company usage, for business usage? We will find out in 2 days. And in this video we will have the first day, which is a round trip where we drive through half of Switzerland visiting customers or simulating this with 4 stopovers. How is this car dealing on the highway? How good is the suspension, the assistance systems, and is it getting the job done? And on the second day, which is a separate video, we will look on the family side of life with this car when we go a bit out in nature and just have a bit of a relaxing time. But in this video, we will do that business trip. And if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Here it is, our car for today's journey, a Skoda ENYAQ RS Coupé in steel grey. And you can directly see it's an RS with these applications here in the front and of course the Vision RS 21-inch wheels. And look at this car and its shape. This coupe shape always gets me. It looks awesome. And I have to say, when I come to the rear, to the boot, this really fits the car. I even like it more than the shape of my SUV. And I had some troubles when I heard that it comes in steel grey. Grey is not about the color I like, but to be honest, when you see the car like this here, wow, I really think this is a color that's fitting the car if you like a color like this, and if you're not into more colors like red or orange, like I am. Now let's talk a bit about the interior, and you might expect it something like the grey suit edition. No, the design selection is the Mamba green one. And when I heard that first, I thought, oh, how will that look? And guess what? Here you see it with that exterior color. It looks awesome. It's a great combination they did here. I would never have configured it like this on my own, but to be honest, this is really, really great. So at this point, shout out to Skoda Switzerland and their PR manager Sandra, who did this, because that really looks great. I don't want to waste too much time on the interior as I showed the interior of an ENYAQ so often. So here it is. And if you ask, what is that? Well, one of my viewers made this 3D printed as an insert for this middle part here, where you can stow stuff way better, and it's quite nice to have. Now let's do a quick move to the rear seat to have again another view, another perspective of this car. And look at this, it is really great. But when we talk about the coupe, the main thing, well, it's up here. It's that big glass roof. And this is really, really great. Now, let's move to the rear of the car and to the boot. And as not so usual for a coupe, it's a really big one. 570 liters below the parcel shelf here, yet there it is, a parcel shelf. They didn't put in a roller. This is a pity. I would have loved to see the roller. We also saw in or see in the ENYAQ SUV, but well, it's just this little one here. And if you think, where is all the space in the car? Well, this looks like a level floor, and it is. We've got the transport package down here, and the transport package in the coupe is really, really large. But you can remove it. If you don't want it, just take it out, and then you've got a really, really big boot to store your stuff in. And with that, this car comes equipped with the Max package, so we have an ENYAQ RS Coupé with everything you can configure. This car was given to me from Skoda Switzerland to do those videos. It's one of their cars out of their press fleet. Time for day one, our business trip, and now you see I've got 100% charged and 461 kilometers of range. Time to build our route for today. We want to simulate a business trip, so we have a couple of destinations to cover. Now let's build this here in Switzerland. First off, we go from where I live to Zurich. It's about 100 kilometers of a drive, and we add our first direct destination. But it's only a stopover, as we want to drive to even more destinations. So now let's add our second stopover, which is at Basel, the Vitra. So those chair and office furniture manufacturers continue as a stopover. But we won't stop there, as it is a business trip. We have more customers to cover. The next one is here at Zurich near Lucerne. Continue, stop over. And there we go. And finally, I want to have a good lunch at the lake in Zug. And here at Hafen West or at the port, there is a fine restaurant. Continue. And now we run into a problem, as you can see. You can only add up to 3 stopover destinations. After that, you cannot add another stopover. And this is a big problem, because if you do some business trips like I want to do today, you more often have more than 3 stopovers, so it's a bit sad. Of course, you can build the route on the go, but it would be nice to have the complete circle I want to drive into my navigation. And now, when you do something you shouldn't do, you should cancel it right now. Also keep in mind that you should start reverse-wise, because as you can now see, the last destination is the first he wants to go. So let's resolve that, because I do not want to go there first. First we go to Zurich, then we go to, and this is again not correct, we need to get Basel behind Zurich, then we go to Basel. Now it's correct. We go to Zurich, Basel, Lucerne and back home. And what you now also can see is that we've got more range. Not 461, 483, because he took into account the terrain. I'm just close to 15 minutes on the road. And there's also one thing that really annoys me. Did you hear that? That noise coming from the front right? This sound out of the door. I first thought it's my camera equipment down in the passenger's food room, but it isn't. I just put it away and the noise is staying there. It's not from the glove box, it is from the front right out of the door. And I'm curious, because normally all Skoda EVs I had, RS ENYAQs, were of really good build quality. No vibrating noises, nothing. But here, right now, well, this really annoys me. It's constantly there, and since I do not have music on, as I am recording right now, I always hear that. This should not be. Well, what a pity. When I'm driving long distances on the highway, hours over hours, I love to use the assistance systems in my car. And the Travel Assist is my system to go here. And Travel Assist is kind of discussed in the community a lot, because it consists of several components, and one of the most discussable things is the road sign recognition, so that it takes over speed limits. And of course, it has its flaws. Yes, there is wrong data. Yes, the camera does not always work perfectly. And we just had it a couple of seconds ago. There was 120 again. So before it was 80 and you were not allowed to overtake, and the car just kept it because the allowance to drive faster was on the bridge over the highway. And with signs above the highway, this system has its problems, and in Switzerland, a lot of problems. I'm honest on that, but more often it makes it correct. It has the correct speeds, and it depends on the definition when you say the car is doing a wrong detection. For some, it's already a wrong detection when the car just sees a road sign 50 meters ahead or at the sign. For me, this is perfectly fine. You do not have to have it predictive. It's great to have that predictive, but when at a speed sign the car takes over the speed, well, that is okay. I will count the wrong recognitions on this whole trip according to my definition, and I will tell you afterwards. But travel assist is not only road sign recognition. Travel assist is way more. And one other topic a lot of complaints occurs about was hand recognition, because in the travel assist you have the steering assistance, which keeps your car in the lane, but not only that, which also does active steering to keep it there. And for that, since it's not autonomous driving, you have to have your hands on the steering wheel as you are in charge. You are responsible, and the manufacturer has to make sure that you have your hands on the steering wheel. And with software version 5.4, which is now in every new ELROC, ENYAQ Coupé, I barely have any problems with that. And it recognizes all of my hand positions on the steering wheel. Be it like learned in driving school, where you grab the steering wheel in the 3 and 9 o'clock position, where you already got that nice thumb rests on the Skoda steering wheel. Be it when you put them down on the steering wheel at the lower parts, or whatever position you find comfortable, it works with the hand recognition. And by the way, I really like the steering wheel in a Skoda. It's really comfy, it's a nice grip, it is really ergonomic. This is by far one of the best steering wheel designs I have experienced. You may have a different opinion on that, but I really like to steer the car with that wheel. And when we are already on that topic, let's talk about that lane assist system and that steering assistant. I a couple of times get complaints about that, telling me I have to deactivate it. It's horrible. I'm afraid of my life. And I cannot understand that. For me, the lane assist works really well, keeping the car in the middle, in the center of the lane, and is driving flawlessly on the highway, on the country road. Of course, it cannot do every bend. If it's a very, very narrow band or something like that, you have to take over steering. But for me, that is normal. I would never expect the car to do that for me. In the situations where I want my car to support me, for me, this assistance system works like charm. And if you write me that it doesn't do that for you, that's perfectly fine. But you should also accept the fact when I answer you that I cannot align with that I cannot say, yes, you are right. And then please don't write back that you don't like my answer, because it is what you experience with the systems, and I can only tell you my own experience. And we should also acknowledge the work of the PACC, so the Predictive Adaptive Cruise Control, which does a perfect fine job for me, except one thing. Well, it keeps the distance as it should. I have it on level 3, well, you can set it to 5 levels. And on level 3, the distance should be always enough. Of course, someone can then pull over into that space, but hey, well, then the PACC does its job again. And the annoying thing, well, if you're on the highway and then there is an exit and the cars are exiting, the ENYAQ or ELROC will start to brake and slow down more often than not, because thinking the car in front of you on the lane, on the exit lane, is in front of you. And this is annoying because my navigation says I'm on the road and I'm not have the signal set to leave the road. And there is no indication for the car that I have to brake or follow the car on the exit lane. So it should stick to the speed on the highway, yet it doesn't. More often it is braking, and for a long time. To be honest, it does that the whole time the exit lane is on the side of the car, and when you are past the exit lane, then it starts accelerating again. And this is for me way too sensitive. This could be completely different, and it could keep its speed as long as you're on the highway, because it doesn't matter what the car on the exit lane does. Yes, of course, you might say now, yeah, but it could pull over again and stuff like that. Yes, for sure. But again, it should not be like it is in some cases. Let's talk about the suspension. And this is a topic which sometimes gets into my mailbox, but more often it is about the standard suspension and not the DCC we have here in this car. And I would bet if you've got a company car, this will be equipped with the DCC, so the dynamic chassis control and adaptive suspension. And the complaints about the standard suspension, whether it is an ELROC, an ENYAQ SUV or an ENYAQ Coupé, well,
For a lot of people it is too hard. And to a certain degree I would agree with you. Yes, it is quite hard. But we are here to talk about the DCC, as I would assume you have that in your company car. And there was a time where I did not feel a lot of differences in the DCC. But right now I would say with the new DCC in those cars, or an improved DCC, however you would call it, I don't think it's a new one, I like it. As you remember, I set it to comfy mode, to comfort, and I'm now 140 kilometers on our trip here, and I've done so many kilometers with a DCC and an ENYAQ or L-Rock. I have to say, in comfort mode it's quite comfy, maybe not as comfy as you have it in some luxury car, you know. It's a bit more hard, but it is really driving quite well on long distance trips, so I like that. It's not like the cloud icon makes you think it is, but it's okay, especially if you compare it to the sport mode this suspension also has. And we will look at the sport mode on another day, not today. So should you buy the DCC? Well, it's a hard decision because you have to make that decision on your own trying it. But the DCC comes with another thing, and that is progressive steering. And progressive steering is really a great thing to have, because right now here on the highway it really feels very precise to steer the car, to just change lanes. The input is direct. And when we go to sport mode and drive on another day, you will see a difference. You will see it even more direct. Progressive steering is something I would always choose in my car. Yet when it comes to the ENYAQ Coupé, you run into the problem that it's part of a package, and within that package you also get normally the DCC.
That big glass roof here in the ENYAQ Coupé, definitely one of the show stars of this car. And I have to admit, I really like that. I like it when it is very bright in the interior, when you have lots of light coming in. And here, this is definitely the case. And this glass roof, despite the fact that it is tinted, so you don't get as much sun heat as you might expect. Today there's not a lot of sun, so I can't test it. Well, you have one disadvantage with it. Well, with every advantage there's disadvantages, right? And this is, you do not have a sunblind, not an automatic one, and the manual one you can buy as an accessory, which is a 3-piece part you can put below that glass, but you have to do it manual. You can't do it whilst driving, and you have to purchase it. And with this sunroof, well, another smaller disadvantage is you get a bit of noise. Yes, wind noise, because in the end it's not metal and some cloth below it which dampens all the noise, the ambient noise and the wind, so you have to bear with that. Is it a lot? No, it's still really quiet and silent in the interior, and I only really noticed that when I was driving through tunnels here in Switzerland, that I get a bit more of wind noise. And there's also the fact that you have that acoustic glass in the car, which also lowers the noise level in the car. And it is really, for me, all the ENYAQs, and especially also the Coupé, is a really quiet car in the interior. Even when driving 120 here on the highway, you could listen to really fine-tuned music, which is not as loud as you normally need, and you could do like you would in a company car, I guess, do one call and one meeting after another without any ambient disturbances. And there we have it, what belongs to a business trip. A lot of traffic jam. Around Lucerne, everything is jammed, and therefore our navigation already planned the detour. That is great. And what is another topic which is important when you do business trips with your company car? Can you rely on the in-car navigation, on the sat-nav, and will it do what you want it to do? And for the Skoda one, I can say, as of now, yes, it does what is needed. And I did a lot of tests, a lot
of tries and compared it also with Google, and in no case the Skoda in-car route guidance and traffic data let me down. It was always on point, it did always the correct choices, and sometimes Google sent us into the traffic jam, so just do it. It's not as long as it is, while Skoda was rerouting us, and the reroute was the better option. I'm now at my lunch stop here in Zug, and you see we still got 41% SOC left and a range of 194 kilometers. We already drove 278 kilometers in 3.5 hours with 16.4 kilowatt hours, 100 kilometer average consumption. And now let's go through those 3 business stops I did, because I took all the data from there, so we can have a look what we did on this business trip. Well, the first stopover was after 103 kilometers, and we've got an average consumption of 17.2 kilowatt hours, and we've still got 77% left in the battery and 356 kilometers of range there. Then our next stopover with 63% SOC and 266 kilometers of range left. Again, we did about 70 kilometers and we dropped down to 16.5 kilowatt hours, 100 kilometers. Then our third stopover at 48% SOC with 227 kilometers of range left, and consumption was 17 kilowatt hours, 100 kilometers, and again it was around 70 kilometers a drive. We are back from our business round trip, 365 kilometers driven with 16.3 kilowatt hours, 100 kilometers, and an average speed of only 77 kilometers an hour, despite the fact that we nearly only drove Swiss highway versus 120. Yet you have construction sites, you have speed limits, and we've got 2 traffic jams which we had rerouted, and this is our result. And what is left in the battery? Well, 23% SOC with still a range of 119 kilometers left. And when we now combine this, what is left, with what we've used, well, we are pretty close to what the car estimated. Do you remember when we started here? It was 482 or 83 kilometers of range, and now it tells us 484 kilometers total range. So it was a perfect calculation of the car for the weather conditions taken into account, the driving profile or the route profile, and my driving style. Let's round this complete road trip or business trip up. Well, I was surprised by the consumption. 16.3 kilowatt hours, 100 kilometer is a really good value. And I would assume with an ENYAQ RS SUV, you would be at least 10% higher than that in the same conditions. The other thing is, it was quite an easy drive for me. We've got 4 stopovers where you could do business. We still got a lot of range left in the car. And for me, yes, this seems to be a traditional standard business day. Write me in the comments if you see it different, if this video is too far away from what you've doing for business when driving an electric car. And what's also really great is to see how much range we really got. In the end, we've got 484 kilometers of range, but normally you don't drive the car down to 0%. So let's assume that you want to go to a charger at 10%. And then you've still got a good amount of over 400 kilometers of range for your daily business. This is a really good value for an EV, and for here in Switzerland. Don't forget, we drove nearly from Chur up to Zurich, from Zurich to Basel, from Basel to Lucerne, via Zug back to close to Chur here to Mels. This is quite a lot of distance to cover, and I don't know how it is in your country. Maybe you've got way longer distances. Write me in the comments. And I told you I would say at the end how many wrong recognitions did I got with the road sign recognition on this trip. And here it is.
we've got 12 recognitions where the car told me a speed below the allowed speed. So it didn't recognize that a speed limit was raised or that the speed limit no longer applies. These are annoying, yes, I'm with you here, but they are not critical. You won't get a fine for this because you're not speeding there. You're simply driving a bit too slow. So I don't count them as important as the others. And the others, that were 10 wrong recognitions where it showed me a speed higher than the allowed one. And most of them occurred in road sign construction sites where most of the time it is 80 or 100 here in Switzerland, and the car told me, well, it's 120, and I bet it got that from the map data. Those are way more annoying because if there is a traffic control, well, you will be caught speeding. This should not happen, but at every occasion I know the speed which I was allowed to drive, so I just set the speed I was allowed. So I saw it on the road. There was only one occasion which I would say was critical. There was 100 on the highway. The car knew it was 100 and then dropped down to 50. This should never ever happen on a motorway or highway. This is simply not possible. This is not plausible, and the car should check for that. Yes, that are 22 wrong recognitions on a distance of 365 kilometers. Is that a lot or not? Well, I wouldn't count that towards the kilometers. I would look at how many road signs were correct. And there were so many I didn't count them. I would need a passenger to do that for me. So yes, that seems to be a high value, but on the other side, well, the really critical ones are only one for me. And maybe I'm too generous here towards Skoda, but I bet with every other car you would experience basically the same because it's the data, it's not the car. But you can have a different opinion, so write me down in the comments. And also, if this scenario didn't cover what you are expecting, write me also in the comments, let's discuss. But if you liked the video, and I hope you did, give it a thumbs up and consider to subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And then, I bet we see each other in the next video. And until the next video is up on this channel, consider to support me so I can make such content happen. Maybe just give me a small support via PayPal or whatever seems appropriate for you, maybe a bank transfer, or go to the Amazon homepage from amazon.co.uk, buy what you always wanted to buy or what you would buy anyway, and I get a small commission, you don't pay more, and that helps me a lot. And now we see each other in the next video, and until then, stay full of energy.